Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles.
I'd love to know what you think. Every comment helps me make the next story better. Subscribe to stay tuned. I should have seen it coming. Looking back now, the signs were everywhere. But when you're in it, when you're trying to hold something together that's already falling apart, you miss the obvious. It was a Friday night when everything changed. 7:30. I got home from work to find Amber getting ready to go out. Again, third time that week, and it was only Friday. "I'm not trying to control you," I said. "I just want us to spend some actual time together." She turned from the mirror, makeup brush in hand. "You are controlling. You're always tracking what I do, when I come home, who I'm with. I'm asking for 2 nights a week. That's not unreasonable. I'm not a child," she said. "I'll do whatever I want, whenever I want. You don't get to set rules for me." I took a breath. "Okay, then I'll do whatever I need to do for myself." What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm not going to sit here waiting around anymore. If you want complete freedom from this marriage, you've got it. She laughed. "Oh, please. You're being dramatic." "No, I'm being clear. You want to do whatever you want. Go ahead. But I'm going to live my life too." She grabbed her purse. "Whatever. I'm meeting Kelsey at Whistler's." The door closed behind her. I sat on the couch in the quiet apartment and realized something. I'd been putting my entire life on hold, waiting for her to come home, wondering where she was, asking for scraps of her time like I was begging for permission to exist in my own marriage. Not anymore. For the first time in months, I didn't text to check in, didn't ask when she'd be home, didn't send the usual "be safe" message. I just let her go. I heard her come in around 3 in the morning, heard her stumble through the hallway, knock something over in the bathroom. I didn't get up, didn't ask if she was okay, just rolled over and went back to sleep. Saturday morning, I woke at 7. Amber was still passed out. I put on running shoes I hadn't touched in 6 months and drove to Zilker Park. The early morning air was cool. My legs protested the first mile, but by the second, something in me loosened. Felt good. Felt like I was waking up from a long sleep. When I got back at 9, Amber was in the kitchen, looking rough. She glanced at me. "You didn't text me last night. You said you'd do whatever you want. I took you at your word. Are you seriously still on this?" "I'm not on anything. I'm just done waiting around." She stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. Then she went back to bed. My phone buzzed around noon. "Holden, basketball at Givens in an hour. You in?" Normally, I'd decline. Amber didn't like me going out on weekends. She'd make comments about me abandoning her, even though she was gone most nights. I typed back, "Yeah, I'm in. What time?" We met at the rec center. Holden, Spencer, and Wyatt were already warming up. "Look who finally showed up," Spencer said. "Been a while," I admitted. "Over a year, man. We thought you died." We played for 2 hours. My shot was rusty, but it came back quick. The rhythm of the game, the easy trash talk, the normalcy of it. I'd forgotten how good it felt. After, we sat on the bleachers drinking water. "Good to have you back," Holden said. "You around for regular games now?" "Yeah, I'm getting back out there." They exchanged looks, but didn't push. Just nodded. Saturday night, Amber got ready to go out again. I was on the couch with a book I'd been meaning to read for months. "You're not going to say anything?" she asked from the doorway. "Have fun. This is childish. You wanted to do what you want. So I'm doing what I want. I want to stay in and read." She left. I ordered pizza from Via 313. Watched a movie I'd wanted to see. Went to bed at 10 and slept better than I had in weeks. No anxiety about when she'd be home. No wondering if I'd done something wrong. Just peace. Sunday morning, Amber was cold. Distant. She made coffee and stood at the counter looking at me like she expected something. I made eggs and toast. Just for myself. "So this is how it's going to be?" she asked. "This is how you said you wanted it." I didn't say I wanted us to ignore each other. "I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not waiting for you anymore." She grabbed her keys and left for brunch with friends. I went to Home Depot. Picked up lumber and brackets for shelves I'd been meaning to build. Spent the afternoon measuring, cutting, installing. Productive. Satisfying. No arguments. No tension. Monday morning, my colleague Paige stopped by my desk. "You seem different today." "Do I?" "Yeah. Energized or something. Just got good sleep." She smiled. "Well, keep it up." I powered through a project I'd been dragging my feet on for weeks. By lunch, I'd made more progress than I had in the previous month. My head was clear. No constant worry about what I'd said wrong, what argument was waiting at home. Monday night, Amber went out again. I went to Austin bouldering project. Hadn't climbed in 6 months. My hands were soft, arms weak, but I worked through a few problems. Ran into Vaughn, a friend from before. Reed, where the hell have you been? Life got busy, but I'm back now. We climbed for an hour, then grabbed beers at the cafe upstairs. You're rusty, he said, but you'll get it back quick. Planning to come regularly again. Thursday good for you? Thursday's good. I got home at 9. Amber wasn't there. I didn't text. Didn't wonder. Just showered and went to bed. Tuesday, Amber's friend Kelsey texted me. Is everything okay with you and Amber? Why do you ask? She said you've been distant. Just giving her the space she wanted. That's not what she meant. That's what she said. I left it there. Didn't explain. Didn't justify. If Amber wanted to tell her friends a different story, that was on her. Wednesday at lunch, Holden and I grabbed sandwiches at Central Market. Man, it's good to have you back, he said. We thought you disappeared. I kind of did. But I'm around again. Amber cool with you hanging out more? She wants to do her thing. I'm doing mine. He picked up on the tension, but didn't push. We talked about work, sports, normal things. It felt good. Easy. No complications. That evening, I worked on the shelves at home. Amber came in around 8. Early for her. She watched me work from the doorway, but said nothing. The silence stretched. I kept working. Thursday, I met Vaughn at the climbing gym after work. Climbed for 90 minutes. My arms burned, but it felt productive. We grabbed dinner at Torchy's Tacos afterward. You're getting back in shape quick, Vaughn said. Feels good to be consistent again. Normal conversation. No drama. No walking on eggshells. I got home at 9:30. Amber was waiting up. Where were you? Climbing with Vaughn. You didn't tell me. You don't tell me your plans. Why should I tell you mine? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Had no response. By Friday, 1 week had passed since the confrontation. Paige stopped by my desk again. Okay, whatever you're doing, keep it up. You've been killing it this week. I realized something then. I was happier. No constant anxiety. Better sleep. More productive at work. Actual social life returning. And I hadn't had a single argument all week. Friday night, Holden texted about dinner with friends. Normally I'd decline. Amber would make comments about me choosing others over her, even though she was out constantly. I typed back. Yeah, I'm in. We met at a restaurant on South Congress. Holden, Spencer, Wyatt, and their partners. First social event in months. Everyone was easy, relaxed. We talked about normal things. Work, sports, weekend plans. You seem good, Spencer said. Different. Just focusing on myself. When I got home at 11, Amber was already there. She looked up from her phone, annoyed. You went out without telling me? I went to dinner with friends. You could have asked if I wanted to come. You were already out. She had no comeback. I went to bed. Saturday morning, I woke up refreshed. Realized I hadn't felt anxious in days. Used to wake up every morning wondering what mood she'd be in, what I'd done wrong, whether today would be the day we finally talked things through. Now I just woke up. Made coffee. Went for a bike ride around Lady Bird Lake. Stopped at Mozart's for coffee and sat by the water. Alone. Peaceful. Sunday afternoon, Amber's sister Bryn called. Is everything okay with you two? We're giving each other space. Amber seems really upset. She told me she'd do whatever she wanted. I said I'd do what I need. That's where we are. You're married. You should be fighting for your marriage. I tried. She called it controlling. So I stopped. Bryn didn't know what to say. The call ended quickly. I didn't feel guilty. I'd done exactly what Amber asked. If she didn't like the result, that wasn't my problem. Monday of week 2, my manager pulled me aside. The work you've been putting out lately is excellent. Whatever's different, keep it up. Professional recognition I hadn't gotten in a year. Made me realize how much my work had suffered when home life was constant stress. Now my head was clear. Focused. Productive. Tuesday at work, I wrapped up a presentation I'd been avoiding for weeks. Used to be, I'd come into the office already drained from whatever argument happened the night before. Now I had energy to spare. My manager stopped by after the presentation. That was excellent work. Clear, thorough, exactly what we needed. Thanks. Just been focused lately. It shows. Keep this momentum going. I realized something then. For months, maybe years, I'd been operating at half capacity. Stress at home bled into everything else. Now that the stress was gone, I was remembering what I was actually capable of. Tuesday evening, I signed up for a woodworking class at the saw shop on Manor Road. Something I'd always wanted to try. First session that night. The instructor, Bennett, walked us through basic tools and safety. By the end of 2 hours, I'd made a simple cutting board. You've got steady hands, Bennett said. Natural. First time. Keep coming back. I brought the cutting board home. Amber saw it. What's that? Made it at woodworking class. Since when do you do woodworking? Since Tuesday. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. The next morning, I was up at 6. Made coffee, went for a run. The routine was becoming automatic. No decision fatigue. No wondering if I should check in with Amber first, if she'd be annoyed I was going out, if I should wait to see what her plans were. I just did what I wanted. At work, I found myself smiling at random moments. Paige noticed. Okay, you're freaking me out. What happened? What do you mean? You're like happy. Genuinely happy. I don't think I've ever seen you like this. I'm just in a good place. Well, it's working for you. Keep it up. The thing was, I hadn't realized how unhappy I'd been. It crept up slowly. Little compromises, little adjustments, little pieces of myself set aside to keep the peace. Individually, none of it seemed like a big deal. Together, it had been suffocating. Now I felt like I could breathe. Wednesday, I played basketball again with Holden, Spencer, and Wyatt. Post-game, we grabbed beers at Zilker Brewing Company. Your game's coming back quick, Wyatt said. Playing more consistently helps. The conversation turned to relationships. Spencer asked how married life was going. Complicated, but I'm figuring it out. You seem good though, Holden said. Better than last time I saw you. I feel better. They didn't push for details. Just friends being friends. Exactly what I needed. Thursday night, Amber was home when I got back from work. Rare lately. We need to talk, she said. Okay, this thing you're doing, this Independence Act, it needs to stop. I'm not doing an act. I'm just living my life. You're doing it to punish me. I'm doing it because you told me to do whatever I need. This is what I need. I meant you should stop being so needy, not turn into someone who doesn't care. I care. I just stopped waiting for you to care back. You're twisting my words. I'm taking them literally. She grabbed her purse and left. I made dinner, worked on a woodworking project. Unbothered. Friday of week 2, Paige cornered me at the coffee machine. Okay, seriously. What changed? My wife told me to do whatever I need. So I am. And you're good? Yeah, really good. Most people would be falling apart. I fell apart for months trying to fix something she didn't want fixed. Now I'm just taking care of myself. Saturday, I went climbing with Vaughn in the morning. Lunch at Loro. Afternoon at Book People, bought 3 books I'd been wanting to read. Evening at home, reading, peaceful. Amber came home at 10. Saw me content with a book. You're really okay with this? She asked. With what? Us living separate lives. You wanted to do what you want. I'm doing the same. She said nothing. Went to bedroom. Sunday, I went back to the saw shop. Made a picture frame. More complex than the cutting board. Bennett said I was picking it up fast. Met another student, Dexter. We talked about projects, techniques. Normal conversation about a shared interest. I brought the frame home. Set it on the table. Amber looked at it, but didn't comment. Monday of week 3, Amber's mother Gloria called during lunch. Reed, what's going on? Amber says you've checked out of the marriage. I'm giving her what she asked for. She didn't ask for you to abandon her. She said she'd do whatever she wants and called my boundaries controlling. So I stopped having expectations. That's not how marriage works. It's how she said she wanted it to work. You need to fight for your wife. I tried. She said I was suffocating her. Gloria didn't have a response. I ended the call politely and got back to work. Tuesday, basketball was becoming routine. Spencer commented that I was officially back in the rotation. Post-game beers were regular now. Easy camaraderie. No drama. Wednesday, my manager mentioned an upcoming promotion opportunity. I was in consideration. Your performance last quarter was strong, but these last few weeks have been exceptional. Made me realize something. When home life was chaos, work suffered. Now, clear mind, strong work. I was actually excited about my career again. Thursday, Amber's friend Kelsey showed up at my office building lobby. We need to talk about what you're doing to Amber. I'm not doing anything to Amber. She's devastated. She thought you loved her. I do. But she told me my care was controlling and she'd do whatever she wanted. I took her seriously. She didn't mean it like that. Then she should have said what she meant. Relationships require compromise. I compromised for a year. Asked for 2 nights a week together. She said that was controlling. So here we are. Kelsey had no comeback. I excused myself and went back to work. Friday marked 3 weeks. I reflected during an evening bike ride. No fights in 3 weeks. Sleeping better. Eating better. Working better. Social life rebuilt. New hobbies. Professional recognition. No anxiety. I wasn't just okay. I was thriving. Saturday morning, I woke without an alarm. First time in years. My body had adjusted to actual rest instead of constant stress. I made breakfast, real breakfast, eggs and bacon and toast. The kind of meal I used to skip because I was too anxious to eat. Holden texted while I was finishing my coffee. Climbing this morning? Yeah. Meet you there at 9. At Austin Bouldering Project, I worked through problems I couldn't touch 3 weeks ago. My strength was coming back. My focus was sharp. You're progressing fast, Vaughn said between climbs. Consistent practice helps. More than that, man. You're present. Before, you were always checking your phone, distracted. Now you're just here. He was right. I wasn't constantly worried about where Amber was, what mood she'd be in when I got home, whether I'd somehow messed up without knowing it. I was just climbing. Just present. After climbing, I stopped at Book People and spent an hour browsing. Bought 3 books I'd been wanting to read. Used to be, I'd rush through errands, always conscious of time, always feeling like I needed to get home. Now I took my time, browsed, enjoyed the moment. That evening, I sat in my apartment reading one of the new books. Pizza from Via 313 on the way. A beer from the fridge. Complete peace. Amber came home around 10. She looked at me, comfortable and content on the couch. How was your night? I asked. Fine. Yours? Good. Went climbing, got some books, just relaxed. She stood there for a moment, like she was waiting for something. When I didn't offer anything more, she went to the bedroom. I returned to my book. Saturday of week 4, my routine was established. Climbing in the morning, woodworking in the afternoon, reading at home in the evening. Amber watched me from across the room. You're really not going to fix this? Fix what? I'm doing exactly what you said you wanted. That's not what I meant. What did you mean? She couldn't articulate it. Monday, my brother Crosby called. Mom says you and Amber are having issues. We're figuring things out. She called Mom saying you've changed. I have. For the better. Want to talk about it? I explained the situation. Man, Crosby said after hearing everything. That's actually pretty healthy of you. You think so? Yeah. She set a boundary. You respected it and set your own. That's mature. First family member who understood. It was validating. Wednesday of week 4, Amber started texting during my workday. Multiple messages. We need to talk. This is serious. You can't keep ignoring me. I'm at work. We can talk tonight. No. Now. I didn't respond. Focused on work. During lunch, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Turned out to be one of Amber's coworkers, someone named Rachel I'd met twice at company events. Hey Reed, I hope you don't mind me calling. Amber gave me your number. What's up? Look, I know it's not my place, but Amber's been really struggling at work. She's distracted, emotional. I'm worried about her. I appreciate your concern. She says you two are going through something. I just thought maybe if you knew how much this was affecting her. I'm aware she's upset, but I'm not responsible for managing her emotions. That seems kind of harsh. I gave her exactly what she asked for. If she's unhappy with the result, that's something she needs to work through. But you're her husband. And she told me my needs were controlling and that she'd do whatever she wanted. So I backed off like she asked. I don't think that's what she meant. Then she should have been clearer. Rachel didn't have a response to that. The call ended awkwardly. I finished my lunch and went back to work. That evening, she was waiting when I got home. You ignored my texts. I was working. This is more important than work. What did you need? I need you to stop this. Stop what? Acting like everything's fine. Everything is fine. For me anyway. She started crying. I didn't rush to comfort her. Breaking the old pattern. You're supposed to fight for us, she said. I tried. You said I was controlling. I left the room. Gave her space. Thursday, Paige commented I was glowing lately. Just in a good place. Whatever you're doing, bottle it. Monday of week 5, I was in an important meeting. Phone on silent. Emerged 2 hours later to 43 text messages from Amber. They started at 8:45. We need to talk today. 9. Are you ignoring me? 9:15. Reed, answer your phone. 9:30. This is ridiculous. They escalated. Desperate. Angry. Cycling between emotions. 10:30. If you don't respond, I'm coming to your office. I typed back. I was in a meeting. What's the emergency? The emergency is our marriage falling apart. I gave you what you asked for. If you don't like it, that's not an emergency on my end. You're being cruel. I'm being clear. You wanted independence. You have it. I put the phone away. Tuesday afternoon, the receptionist called. Your wife is here. I went to the lobby. Amber looked emotional. Mascara smudged. You wouldn't answer, so I came here. This isn't appropriate. Neither is abandoning your wife. I guided her to an empty conference room. Glass walls. People were watching. I haven't abandoned anyone. You told me to do whatever I need. You know that's not what I meant. I only know what you said. I was frustrated. You were being clingy. I asked for 2 nights a week together. That's not clingy. You were tracking my every move. I asked where you were going. That's normal in a marriage. You made me feel trapped. So I gave you space. Complete space. I didn't want you to stop caring. I do care. I just stopped making you my entire life. She cried harder. I want things back how they were. How they were. With you out 5 nights a week and me waiting at home? That's not fair. You're right. It wasn't fair. That's why I stopped. So that's it. We're done? I didn't say we're done. But I'm not going back to the way things were. What does that mean? It means if you want a marriage, it has to be equal. Not me waiting for scraps of your time. I need to think. Take all the time you need. She left. I returned to my desk. Paige was watching. You okay? Yeah. I'm good. That looked intense. It was. But I'm solid. I meant what I said. I was good. The confrontation didn't shake me. If anything, it confirmed what I already knew. We wanted different things. She wanted me to decode hidden meanings and play games. I wanted direct communication and mutual respect. Those things weren't compatible. That evening, I skipped my usual routine and just drove. Took the long way home through downtown, past the Capitol, down South Congress. Gave myself time to think. The thing was, I wasn't angry. Wasn't bitter. Just clear. 7 years is a long time. We'd had good moments, good years even. But somewhere along the way, it had shifted. She'd started pulling away, and I'd started chasing. The more I chased, the more she pulled. The more she pulled, the harder I tried. It was exhausting. And then she called my basic requests controlling, and something in me just broke. Not in a dramatic way. Just quietly stopped trying. I got home around 7. Made dinner. Grilled chicken, vegetables, rice. Ate at the table while reading one of the books I'd bought. Normal. Peaceful. My phone buzzed. Crosby. Heard you had a rough day? Where'd you hear that? Mom. Amber called her apparently. Of course she did. You okay though? Yeah. Actually doing really well. Told Amber I want a divorce. Seriously? Seriously. She showed up at my office today. Big scene. Made it clear we're done. How you feeling about it? Relieved mostly. Sad. But in that way where you know you're making the right choice. Proud of you, man. That takes guts. Or just exhaustion. Either way, you're doing what you need to do. We talked for another 20 minutes about other things. His kids, his work, normal brother stuff. It felt good. Grounding. Wednesday, our mutual friend Harper called. Amber's really struggling. I know. She loves you. She has an interesting way of showing it. Can't you two work this out? I tried. For months. She called my basic requests controlling. She's scared of losing you. She told me to do whatever I need. This is what I need. You're really okay walking away? I'm not walking away. I'm walking toward peace. Harper didn't push further. Friday, Gloria called again. Amber says you humiliated her at your office. She showed up unannounced. I spoke with her privately. She's falling apart. That's unfortunate, but it's not my responsibility to fix. She's your wife. She's an adult who told me very clearly what she wanted. I gave it to her. Marriage is about compromise. I compromised for over a year. She refused to compromise at all. You're giving up too easily. I tried the hard way for months. This is me taking care of myself. Saturday, Amber texted. Can we meet? Really talk? I considered it. Where? Home. No. Somewhere public. Houndstooth Coffee on North Lamar. Tomorrow 10 a.m. Why public? Neutral territory. She agreed. Sunday morning, I arrived at Houndstooth Coffee at 9:55. Ordered black coffee. Sat at a table by the window. Amber arrived at 10:10. Late as usual. She looked exhausted. Emotional. She sat down. Silence. I'm sorry, she finally said. For what specifically? For saying you were controlling. For taking you for granted. Okay. I miss you. I miss us. Do you? Or do you miss having someone waiting at home? That's not fair. You went out 5 nights a week. I asked for 2 nights together. You called that controlling. I was overwhelmed. Work was stressful. I needed to decompress with friends. I understand needing friend time. But you chose your friends every single night. You could have come with me. You never invited me. And when I suggested we do something together, you said I was being clingy. I didn't mean it. You said it repeatedly. For months. I want to fix this. How? We can go to counseling. I suggested that 6 months ago. You said we didn't need it. I was wrong. I leaned back. Here's what I've learned in the last 6 weeks. I sleep better. I work better. I'm healthier. I have friends again. I have hobbies. I'm not anxious all the time. I'm not walking on eggshells. I'm peaceful. She was crying. Without me. Because of the dynamic we had. Not because of you specifically. So you do still love me? I probably always will. But I don't like the person I was becoming in our marriage. We can change that. Can we? You told me my basic needs were controlling. When I respected your wishes and backed off, you got angry that I actually did it. I was testing you. I stopped. Put my coffee down. You were testing me? I wanted to see if you'd fight for us. You told me my boundaries were controlling, said you'd do whatever you wanted, rejected my attempts at connection for months, as a test. She realized her mistake. When you put it that way, that's manipulation. That's game playing. I don't do that. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Repeatedly. And I made mine. So you're giving up. No. I'm choosing myself. There's a difference. I need you. You need someone waiting at home while you live your life. That's not a partner. That's a safety net. That's not true. When's the last time you asked about my day? My work? My interests? My needs? She was silent. Exactly. I stood up. I hope you find what you're looking for. But it's not going to be me waiting around anymore. Reed, please. I'm done. I'll have my lawyer contact you about the divorce. Her eyes went wide. Divorce? You wanted to do whatever you want. Now you can. I walked out. I drove to Zilker Park. Walked around. Processing. Felt sad, but also relief. No regret about what I said. I texted Crosby. Just ended it for real. You okay? Yeah, I am. Monday, I called a divorce attorney Crosby recommended. How long married? 7 years. We discussed assets, timelines, logistics. I was calm, clear, decisive. At work, Paige noticed. Big weekend. Told my wife I want a divorce. Oh my God. You okay? I really am. You seem okay. I've been preparing for this for 6 weeks without knowing it. Tuesday, I got 67 texts from Amber throughout the day. Begging. Angry. Desperate. Cycling through emotions. I sent one message. Please communicate through attorneys from now on. I blocked her number. Felt strange, but necessary. That evening, basketball with friends. They noticed I seemed lighter. You're different tonight, Holden said. Filed for divorce today. Shit, man. You okay? Honestly, better than I've been in years. They supported without pushing. Normal evening. Exactly what I needed. The next few days were strange. Not bad strange. Just different. I kept expecting to feel regret, or doubt, or second thoughts. They never came. Instead, I felt lighter. Like I'd been carrying something heavy for so long I'd forgotten what it felt like to stand up straight. Thursday evening, I went to woodworking class. Bennett had us working on small boxes. Dovetail joints, precise measurements. Required focus and patience. You're developing a good eye for this, Bennett said, inspecting my work. It's meditative. That's what keeps people coming back. The focus required pushes everything else out. He was right. When I was at the shop, measuring and cutting and sanding, nothing else existed. No divorce, no drama, no stress. Just wood and tools and the satisfaction of creating something. Friday, a week after filing papers, Paige brought me coffee. Okay, I have to ask. You filed for divorce on Tuesday, and you seem completely fine. How? I shrugged. I guess I already did the hard part. The last 6 weeks were me emotionally separating. The papers just made it official. That's incredibly healthy. Or incredibly cold. No, she said. It's healthy. You set a boundary. She didn't respect it. You followed through. That's what healthy people do. I thought about that conversation later. Was I cold? Maybe. But I tried the warm approach for months. Tried communicating, compromising, understanding. She'd called it controlling. At some point, you have to choose yourself. 3 months later, the divorce was moving through the system. I'd moved to my own apartment in East Austin. Smaller, but mine. Decorated with woodworking projects I'd made. Shelves, frames, a small table. My routine was solid. Work, climbing twice a week. Basketball once a week, woodworking class. I'd been promoted. My manager said it was the best work I'd done since I started. I was settled. Peaceful. For months in, I ran into Harper at Whole Foods. Reed, how are you? Good. Really good. Amber's dating someone new. Good for her. Harper seemed surprised by my lack of reaction. You're really okay? She wanted to do whatever she wanted. Now she can. No regrets? About standing up for myself? None. We chatted for a few more minutes about mutual friends, about life in general. Easy conversation. No tension. Later that week, Holden invited me to a barbecue at his place. Small gathering. Just the basketball crew and their partners. I almost said no out of habit, then realized there was no reason to decline. No one waiting at home expecting me. No conflict to navigate. I went. It was good. Normal people having normal conversations. Spencer's wife was pregnant. Wyatt had just started a new job. Regular life updates. At one point, Spencer pulled me aside. You seem different, man. Since the divorce. Different how? Lighter. Like you're actually enjoying life instead of just getting through it. I think I am. Good for you. Seriously. Not everyone has the guts to walk away from something that's not working. Wasn't about guts. Just about survival. Still, good for you. 6 months later, my life had filled in completely. Saturday morning, climbing with Vaughn. Lunch with Holden, Spencer, and Wyatt. Afternoon, woodworking class. Bennett said I had real skill. Asked if I'd ever thought about selling pieces. Evening, I had a date with Mallory, someone I'd met at the climbing gym. Casual. No pressure. We got coffee at Radio Coffee and beer. Easy conversation. She asked about past relationships. Was married. It didn't work out. Kids? No. Clean break. She respected my privacy. Nice evening. No drama. 7 months after that Friday night confrontation, my attorney called. Papers are signed. You're officially divorced. Thanks for handling it. One of the more amicable ones I've seen, actually. We both got what we wanted. That evening, Crosby called. How you feeling? Relieved. Free. Any second thoughts? None. Best decision I've made. We talked about other things. Family, work, future. I mentioned Mallory casually. You sound happy. I am. 1 year later, I was back at Zilker Park. Same spot where I'd gone after the final confrontation with Amber. Running regular now, training for a half marathon. I stopped for water. Sat on a bench. Reflected. 1 year ago, marriage falling apart. Now, promoted, healthy, social life rebuilt, hobbies I loved, potentially a new relationship forming. Most importantly, peaceful. Amber crossed my mind briefly. I wondered if she was happy. Hoped she was. But didn't need to know. She'd wanted me to fight for our marriage by ignoring her words. I'd fought for myself by respecting them. I stood up. Finished my run. Life continued. No regret. Just forward motion. She called my boundaries controlling. Said she'd do whatever she wanted. I told her I'd do whatever I needed. Turns out what I needed was a life where I didn't have to choose between my needs and someone else's games. She wasn't ready for that reality. But I was. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.